Welcome to the Partnernomics Show, where industry thought leaders discuss the hottest topics in partnerships, ecosystems, and innovation.
Welcome back to another episode of the Partnernomics Show. Great to be with you today. Today we are joined by Dmitrius Garcia. Dmitrius, great to see you again, buddy. How are things going?
Hey, Marcus, going well, man. How are things going with you?
Good, man. Hey, I was just thinking about you earlier today. The football season is in full swing. Unfortunately, my Chiefs, at least as of the recording date of this podcast, are not off to the hot starts that they usually are, that we're accustomed to. So a little bit, I got a black eye on me today. But how about you? How about the 49ers doing?
As a 49er fan of the last 5 years, I don't feel sorry for you, Mark. I'm sorry.
I'm not going to be getting any sympathy from anyone, I am sure.
Not from the kid from the Bay Area. Absolutely not. Pat Mahomes has been a thorn in our side for years, and it's like, for me, now I know what it feels like to be, one of those teams playing basketball in the 1990s against Michael Jordan.
Against Jordan, absolutely.
Right. You see him hit the field. You see them, it's in the playoffs. It's the finals. In this case, the Super Bowl. It's like, gosh, really? Pat Mahomes? Okay.
Yeah, he's been fun to watch. We've been lucky. So, Demetrius, man, I'm really looking forward to having this conversation with you. xAmplify, man, you guys have had some really exciting news come out that I would love to let's discuss. Let's get it out there and let's share it, with our group and beyond. Man, you guys have been an awesome partner of ours with your PRM solution, but you guys have made some big strategic decisions. I'd love for you to break that to our crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. So, over the years, we've worked with a lot of different partners and spoke with a lot of different companies, and one of the things that we've uncovered consistently is that for some of the smaller players in the marketplace, it's very hard to justify the cost of a PRM when you're building out a partner program. So what we've done in response to the market is we've released our core PRM open source, right? And people will say, well, why would you do that? You put all this money, invested so much into this product. Well, our PRM is just one of our core products. But that being said, we also saw sort of a desire to democratize the channel industry, meaning, and for smaller players, we wanted to give them an opportunity to also compete at the same level as, a larger program who has greater financial resources, right? Just to sort of level the playing field. The way that we see it, the more companies that are operating in the channel, right, and able to be successful and have some structure or some methodology behind them, the better they will make customers for our other core products, right? So our open source PRM is designed to bring these people into the market so they can scale in order to make the market, one, more competitive for all players, no matter how small or how large you are, but two, right, also give us an opportunity to be a greater value add to some of these smaller to medium-sized companies who are trying to find a way to justify, paying X amount of dollars for a PRM that may not be necessarily returning an ROI for, 12 to 16 months.
Yeah, it certainly makes a ton of sense to me. So, Demetrius, obviously, the folks that are in the partnership world are familiar with xAmplify and the work that you guys do, and the awesome work that you guys have done, your software solutions over the last several years. But, one of the things that we've been working on the last 18 to 24 months is, just as you're talking about, it's one of the things I'm really excited about is we're helping companies, technology companies, software companies, professional services, really across the board. We're helping those small, medium-sized businesses get into partnerships for the very first time. So they're standing up programs from zero. I'd love for you to take a couple minutes to just kind of provide some background on xAmplify for those CEOs and executives that aren't really used to partnerships, and they're kind of formulating partnership program, and that growth strategy for the very first time. Provide a little bit of background on xAmplify, if you would.
Yeah, so xAmplify was co-founded, back in 2019, And some of the co-founders, particularly Arvin and Sudhir, they come out of the MSP community. So they were working at that partner level. They were, servicing, being service agents on behalf of vendors. But in that same vein, they also learned and saw the fragmentation of and this the disjointedness of the data within the channel and how that affected relationship between partners and vendors. So they decided to build out a platform that provided visibility. So I believe the first core they built out was the TCMA, the Through Channel Marketing Automation, which provided analytics, provided visibility into the marketing efforts done by the partner on behalf of the vendor. Then they built out their PRM. Then they built out their landscape modules. Then, we had the introduction of our AI agents as well that do a lot of background work. So the beginning of xAmplify was developed out of MSPs trying to make the channel work better for everyone, right?
Yeah, it's
No
really
matter
interesting.
how-
Yeah, it's an interesting background because it's like Sudhir and they were coming at it really from the other side, not necessarily from the vendor side, saying, "Hey, I need
Correct.
to manage my partners," but they were on the traditional, I guess you call it the partner side, right? And so they would bring in a very unique perspective to build a software solution to manage those relationships. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, they saw the pitfalls and the gaps and the fragmentation, how that affected their relationship because, they're operating on a different level within the market, right? They're competing for these transactions. Not to say the vendors are competing, right? But they have to be a little bit more or have the ability to pivot and move quicker than a vendor, right? Because they don't know what's behind door number 1, 2, or 3 with respects to who they're competing against, who those competitors are working with, right? They're dealing with a whole lot of other variables. And then not to mention the lack of visibility, right? And they got to execute fast. So for them, it was a matter of uh, providing visibility, providing analytics, and allowing for the vendor to make data-driven decisions, right, in order to preserve the relationships that work best for them, and to be able to identify leveraging data, which partners are doing what and working truly on behalf of them, and also solving channel conflict. But getting back to the open source PRM, right? This is what happens when an industry matures. When an industry matures, it's like, okay, this piece of technology is required for all companies trying to run a partner program. And if it's required for all companies trying to run and scale a partner program, there shouldn't be a barrier to entry. So that's why I refer to us as exemplify on an initiative to democratize the industry, making this core PRM accessible to everyone,
Yeah,
right?
I love
And
that.
so
It's
now if
needed,
you're
badly
yes,
needed.
now if you're a partner program and you're approached by you yourself, right? And you're consulting a company, and the company's like, hey, I'm paying for you, maybe we'll wait, maybe we can wait 6 to 9 months before we get that PRM. You don't have to wait 6 to 9 months. You get into a PRM, you play with it, you adopt it, you upload your partners, your collateral, you find out what you need, what you don't need. And then from that point, now you can say, hey, you know what? This would be really great if we had a little direct marketing automation. Or what kind of agentic agents can we deploy on top of this PRM to make it more efficient? Or I want to do some co-marketing with some of these partners. Is there, another component that can attach to this PRM? And of course, that's where we can come into the fold and help you a la carte with the elements that work for you. Because what happens, with some of these smaller programs is they're sold and they're forced to buy into, a platform that has all these bells and whistles that they probably will never even touch as they're undergoing partner recruitment, right? As they're undergoing creating enablement content, learning tracks for their partners. The first 6 to 9 months when you build out your program is a lot of like you just in the trenches, just really
Yeah, you're
literally
doing a lot of plumbing and piping and a lot of that work. You're not
building
even
things
really doing
out.
heavy execution. Yeah.
And then now you're paying for this platform that's like, $30,000, $40,000 that's yielding no ROI. In this particular instance, you can build out that program, recruit those partners, right? Build out your collateral, right? And you don't have the stress and the pressure to deliver ROI or justify the cost of that platform. So that's why, as mentioned, we're really looking to lower the barrier to entry into to being effective and proficient in the channel space, right? But also in that same vein, making it accessible to everyone, right? And because we believe in indirect sales and channel sales and partnering and things of that nature. And for us, the more people that we see successful with partner marketing and working the channel, that's more prospects for us. That's more potential clients for us in the future.
Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to this. It just seems, I think a lot of folks, especially those that are getting into partnerships for the first time, I believe, and I've just seen it so many times, that they think whenever they buy a PRM, they're getting a partnership program and all of the processes in a box. But in fact, the PRM is a data management system to manage all of the intricacies and all of the moving parts, but it's not a full process. It's not a full blueprint of how to do it. It's a technology solution. And so I love that instead of being forced to either go spend $30,000 or $40,000 on a PRM or stand something up just from spreadsheets and trying to run it that way, you guys are now giving them the opportunity to set that inside of a core PRM and build it out to at the cadence and speed that they need, but then they're ready to execute. Now they don't have another project of, hey, let's take all of this data and spreadsheets and all these other disparate information that we've put together, and now let's put it into a system. They can really start doing that from day one.
Exactly.
They've never been able to do that before.
No,
I'm super
never.
excited.
Yeah, never. And I think this really changes the conversation in the space. And if there's one thing that I would say, Sadir and Arvin probably are most at this point most adamant about, right, is evangelizing the shift in the industry and the availability of this open source product, right? And a lot of that, rests on me. D, like you gotta be more vocal about this. The people need to understand that there's a solution out there waiting for them. And look, check it out. If you are currently using a PRM or a TCMA tool or some other channel software, platform or application, you can still download the open source, play with it, and you can make a determination without committing to anything, right? If paying $30,000, $40,000, is worth it, or just saying, you know what, maybe I'm not going to renew the contract. Maybe I'm just going to, commit to this open source product here that is relatively the same thing, right? Functionality wise, it serves the same purpose. Maybe I'm just going to do this, save my $48,000 and invest in things that probably are going to benefit my partners more. You're going to help my partner marketing team be more effective, right? Invest in things like maybe AI agents or other tools that better serve what you're trying to do as a vendor within your partner program, within your partner ecosystem.
So, Demetrius, what does that look like whenever somebody raises their hand? They say, "Hey, I'm ready to jump in. I want to, take advantage of this opportunity." What's the logistics look like to get working with your open source PRM?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Like you can go onto our website right now, and I'm pretty sure there's some links there, and I can share with you after this call. And you can share with your listeners, or we can, on LinkedIn or what have you not. And you can just, download the code. And we have professionals internally who can also serve as a resource, right? and helping you provision the code, but also, get it up and running. And if you need some custom work done, some customization, they can, provide you, hourly service work for that. But for the most part, for most teams who have a developer on staff, they can get up and running on their own.
Okay. How about connecting into different PRMs that are out there? Is there an ability to connect into
Yeah,
PRMs?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So our the core PRM already has integrations with, Salesforce, HubSpot. But if if a particular user wants to integrate the PRM with the Salesforce or HubSpot or whatever systems that they're using internally, they can do that on their own, or they can reach out to us and we can advise them and consult them on that as well.
Okay. Awesome. How about other integrations? Let's say if somebody has, you mentioned, different AI tools that are out there, either, companies are creating their own agents that are helping them, or perhaps buying some off the shelf agents that, that they can code out to do with the tasks that they're looking for. Will there be an ability to connect those AI agents to the open source PRM?
Absolutely. So our core product, like I said, it's a replica of what we currently have marketed, right? That what we currently have marketed has AI agents built into it, right? That we built into it, we've customized, and those AI agents, they sit on MCP protocol, which means they can communicate autonomously with other agents, whether it be HubSpot, Salesforce, which in some instances, right, sort of makes it so that some companies wouldn't necessarily have to do very rigorous API integrations, because now the agents can call the other agents and autonomously exchange data, right? The open source PRM definitely has the capability of that as well, right? And that's why, most of our team at xAmplify, they are engineers, they are developers. And if that's something that a user is interested in learning more about, I can definitely connect you with, our either someone internally or our direct partner, which is StratApps, who is like our license. They provision the open source, and they also service the open source. And I work very closely with the executive team there at StratApps, and they know the platform in and out, and
Okay.
they can do anything with the platform.
So how is there like a setup fee or something like that, or like how do people like get started with it? Is it kind of like some other platforms, WordPress, say for example, where you would download it, you find a hosting provider and you host it, or do you guys also have relationships where you can just purchase, have it hosted or set on servers as a service?
So twofold, right? One, we can service it, right? We can service the platform if that's what you desire, or you can host it on your own server. The provisional fee for the licensing, so that you own it, because at the end of the day, this intellectual property does belong to xAmplify, but we will sell you the license to run with it. The only thing you can't do is resell it, but it's yours. For like, I think the provisional license fees, I think like $1,000, but that's just to get it set up. And it's with that provisional fee, it gets you kind of set up and ready to run with it, right? But it's also yours, right? It's your, we're giving you the key to the car. You can host it on your own server, or if you want, you can work with us in us providing hosting services as well, because that's something we can also do in tandem.
Awesome. Demetrius, what's some of the kind of base functionality? So we know that there's lots of different PRMs out there. They do a lot of different things, and the lines are kind of blurred as to exactly what a PRM. Where does it start? Where does it stop? What's some of the core functionality that that this open source version has that users can expect to use right out of the box?
Yeah, everything short of, direct marketing automation, right? Or through channel marketing automation, right? But the creating collateral with your partner, segmenting partners, having a repository for your partner. So a partner portal, on top of being able to manage that relationship, create collateral, make collateral available to your partners, segmenting your partners, also categorizing or segmenting your collateral for specific partners, right? Enabling some partners to get access to some content versus others. And then we have like our learning tracks. We have our playbooks. We have a host of other tools for enablement that also help your partner go to market more efficiently and better on your behalf.
Man, that's amazing.
Mhm. Yeah,
It is
so
absolutely amazing.
yeah, it's no different. If you go to our website and you look at, the bells and whistles of our PRM, you're gonna get the PRM. This isn't a stripped down version. This is, a out of the box PRM that's competitive with every other PRM currently on the marketplace.
So Demetrius, how do you see, as whenever clients jump in there, I'm seeing, I'm envisioning hours jumping in and using it and building out their programs for the first time. As you mentioned, it's going to take 6 to 9 months to put in that main plumbing, piping, build out their programs the way that they want, get some solid partners in place, doing the co-marketing, getting that collateral going. How do you see companies continuing to grow and evolve and go from, level 1 users to level 2, 3, and 4? What does that mean? You had mentioned TCMA, through channel marketing automation. What are some other tools and capabilities that users would be able to purchase from xAmplify or bring in their own and connecting it in through integrations?
Well, yeah, so definitely, we have direct marketing automation capabilities, right? Where, users can market directly to either their contacts or their partners. We have the TCMA, which has folded into it co-branding, right? Which allows you to go to market at scale and co-brand material with your most strategic partners. We also have, landscapes and modules, which allows you to create landing pages for all your partners. If you're a vendor, create landing page for all your partners, which allows you to easier or more efficiently share your partner's profile with maybe some of your current customers, right? If they're looking for partners to help with implementation or servicing. In addition to that, there's also, our Oliver, our agentic AI, which can fulfill a host of functions, right? From, managing, what's coming in and out of your email, managing your contacts, managing your collateral, helping you create collateral to go to market more efficiently. So there's a whole host of tools that can be purchased and tap and attached or brought onto the platform, the core PRM, that can help you go to market more efficiently. But that's up to the user, right? Every use case is different. Something works for others that don't work for the next person. So we want to give the user the power, but also the ability to make intelligent decisions on what they actually need. So they're paying for exactly what they need, and they're getting the best out of their partner program.
Man, well, I think you guys hit the nail on the head. I'm super excited for this. I think this is really going to help get a lot of companies into the partnership game, like you said. Help them get into the game, not have that big burden right up front where they've just spent the money and it's going to take them 6, 9, 12 months to make a return on that. And as we both know, we've seen it so many times. Especially with these newer programs, kind of under promise, over deliver is what we strive for, but unfortunately it's kind of the reverse.
Yeah.
And then it kind of puts those partnering professionals in a bad spot where they're trying to dig their way out. You guys are really creating a paradigm shift here, and this is going to be awesome to watch unfold.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And even for not even for the smaller company, even for like the larger companies, right? Like I will tell you, I come out of a different space. So many moons ago, I built out a capital markets trading firm, right? And we were a global firm, and we dealt with hundreds of partners as well in different countries. We predominantly worked in Asia. We would move assets from U.S. Europe into Asia, and one of the things that we had a very difficult time doing was managing all these relationships, especially on a really big project. We worked with like 5 to 7 partners worldwide. And we went to Salesforce to try to build out a customized platform. We were quoted $120,000 a month. to build it
Ouch.
out and to have it managed. That's how sophisticated and layered our processes were, right? And we're like, wow, that's a lot of money, right? We wish we were making the money to justify that, right? Not to say that we can't, but that's a lot. Like, we're a pretty tight-knit team here. So instead, we went and we found an open source product that allowed for us to build out our own database, but it gave us like a core sort of CRM database. And we, over the years, probably invested about maybe 150,000 in building that out. This like between 2013 and 2015. And it actually worked for us, right? And when we went to try to migrate over to Salesforce, I forgot what we're doing it for, why we went to migrate to Salesforce, or see if we could. A lot of it was not because the technology didn't work for us. It was because the servicing agents, right? At that time, they were, we're paying a lot. We're trying to see, it's Salesforce is now cheaper, and guess what? It was twice as much.
Wow.
So we stayed with our home baked custom product. But here's the thing, right? Is in that particular instance, we probably built out 90% of our platform off the core, which is a very, very basic sort of database CRM system. We're giving you 100% of a PRM.
Yeah.
You're not building anything out. If you're going to do anything, you're just going to add, TCMA, you're going to add agentic AI, right? So it's a completely different situation. And for the larger companies, right? For the larger country, for an enterprise level company, you have something you can deploy internally, and you can customize however you like that fits your particular use case. So it's also a really great product and opportunity for enterprise level companies, right? I just got the phone last week with a very close friend who works for a very large conglomerate, right? And they have a lot of intercompany transactions. And she was like, can it do this? Can it do that? So, why don't you just have your engineers download the open source, and they have a PRM that can help you guys manage your partners and have them play with it, configure it, they can build on it themselves, right? If they need to work with one of my teammates or I can put them in contact with one of our people. But at the end of the day, that's the power of open source. You pay for that provisional license. It's now yours. Do what you want with it. If you have your engineers, they can build, they can stack on it, they can do whatever they want. But most importantly, you're going to be able to customize it for your particular use case. And so the value proposition is both powerful at the smaller to medium-sized companies, right, in that area of the market, as well as the enterprise level companies. There's a really great value proposition there, right? For the first time, these companies have the ability to really build out something that's going to work for them, right? Because we understand, like with software, like every company's business processes are going to look a little bit different, especially if you're going to market with partners, right? And how you manage those partners, the type of partners that you leverage the most. And you want to be able to have a platform that reflects your day-to-day reality.
Man, well, I'm excited to see this. Excited to push clients your way and continue our relationship that we have. But man, I'm just feel really grateful to be here, kind of in this space now. It's such an exciting spot between the agentic AI that's coming in and opportunities that it brings. But now, like we've talked about so many times, man, there's a big hurdle here, for companies to get into PRMs. And now you guys have just knocked that barrier down. So
Yeah.
kudos to you guys. I love it.
And Mark, let me go ahead and give you your flowers too, bud. Like, congratulations on finishing your book. I know you're kind of like, grinding and working really hard and getting that done. And it's my understanding that you've completed it. And that's a very tall task and something to be very proud of. And congratulations. Not many people can author a book. It takes a lot of discipline, hard work, and market insight to do something like that.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. And it's going to be awesome because I think it's really going to help open some eyes for people that are now ready to leverage the partnership role inside of companies and use it as a way to grow. I think all companies are really struggling or challenged now. Customer acquisition cost is going through the roof. They're just continuing to become more and more, just costly to get out there and to do business.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of organizations, I think this book will give them a new way to think about going indirect and leaning into channels and what that could look like. So I think it'll be a great compliment for the strategy that you guys have too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, Mark, man. Let's rock and roll, and let's get some work done and help people get some business done in the process of doing it.
Awesome. Dmitrius, thank you so much for your time, man. It's great checking in with you again.
Indeed, man. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of the PARTNERNOMICS Show. Don't forget to subscribe to get the newest episodes at thepartnernomicsshow.com.